Hey y'all, have you ever met anyone that everyone around you seems to love, and this person seems really kind and happy and crack a lot of jokes, but there's something within your spirit, there's something within you that just doesn't like this person. There's something off about them. There's something, you can't quite put a finger on it. You didn't see them doing anything and they didn't say anything wrong, but you just can't quite let that feeling go and relax. You don't feel fully comfortable with them. If this is something that has happened to you, you may be tapping into your discernment, your spiritual discernment, and you may be taking note of the negative entities that are dwelling or oppressing this person. If you're new here, my name is Stephanie, and I love to talk about spirituality, growth mindset, changing your frequency, changing your consciousness, and reaching our highest levels in this life, and, living it up. So I wanted to really get into this because discernment is something that I feel like I've always had in a way, and it's kind of interlaced with intuition, so I didn't quite know the difference. The intuition is more your gut instinct, your animal instinct. It's kind of like that gut feeling you get, like if something bad is going to happen. Like mothers have it a lot with their children, with your loved ones. You have it, animals have it, they have that intuition that something is going to happen before it does. That kind of otherworldly knowledge of the unseen. They're more tapped in and tuned in. They don't have all the distractions that we do, so naturally they are more in tune with their intuition. We, however, as humans, are constantly barraged with like distractions from everywhere, from ourselves, from other people around us, from TV, from social media, from the phones that are in our hands almost constantly. We are so tapped into everything else that we are unable to, at many times, to truly be tapped into ourselves, into our higher selves, into source consciousness, to God. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that. It's been on my mind for a while to make this video, and I wanted to do it right because it is really important. So what I decided to do was Google discernment. And I noticed in my Googling that the explanation does not truly encompass all that it is. So Google says that discernment is the ability to judge well, which I guess is true. It does, it is more true judgment. And I'm not saying like judging like, oh, they need to be doing this with their life, or these people are low down dirty dogs. But yeah, you do get a knowing of who people are before you really know them, before they really show you who they are. You get knowledge of where to go, where not to go, what to speak of and what not to speak of. In Christian context, it is the perception in the absence of judgment with a view to obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. Which, I mean, yeah, it's a spiritual guidance and spiritual understanding. Like it's said to be like when you are filled with the Holy Spirit, then the Holy Spirit guides you, and you are spirit-led if you allow yourself to be. You are shown things, you are told things, and it's for protection, it's for guidance, it's for understanding, it's for, the best version of you and the best version of others. Let's see. there's many times in my life that I've met people that are like mutual friends of someone else, or a partner of a friend who perhaps they've been married for years, or even, past spouses of my own. There's things about them, it's like my spirit is telling me they're not good. Not that they're like horrible or whatever, but I don't want to be deceitful, and I don't want to sugarcoat anything. The reality is that some of these people do have entity attachments. These people may even be possessed. These people may be run by demons. And that's a reality that if you're unwilling to take a look at and really sit with and to believe, that you might not want to watch the rest of this video, or any of my videos, because to be honest, the way that I believe of this world is everything is spiritual. This world is more spiritual than not, and it is more, what is the word I'm looking for? Brain fart, like literally, it's spiritual over everything. Everything's spiritual. The family that you're born into, it's a spiritual journey. The people that you meet throughout your life, it's a spiritual journey. It's lessons. It's learning who these people, these entities are, and learning that it's not just me versus and this person. It's me, my anointing, and their entities. It's, the entities that have attached to them, and shutting down their anointing and shutting down their connection to God. And it's attacking me. It's attacking other people in the world, because those negative entities and energies, they want nothing more than destruction and chaos. And so I have a little list of some things that might let you know if you're, in your discernment or not. But the one thing that I want you to really get from this video, if nothing else, is that the intuitive nudges, like the feelings that you get regarding certain situations and people and going places and things like that, we all have our own unique frequency, and we all, it's, our brain is like a computer, right? And we all are technically the same, but we are different and separate, and we grow up different, we're calibrated different, and we have different traumas and different ways to work through those. So someone else, Susie down the street, might not get the same feeling from Frank next door that I get, because Frank next door reminds me, his energy signature is reminding me of those negative, toxic energies from my childhood. That, as much as trauma is trauma and tricky and hard, I've been around a lot of different people, and I've been around a lot of negative people, and a lot of people wearing masks, and it can be very hard for people to see past what another person shows them in their face, like smiling, happy, let me do these things for you, let me tell you how much I love you, and yet there may be times when you're thinking, why does it feel like this person hates my guts when they tell me that they love me? Why does my family treat me this way? Why do my friends treat me this way? It's because, to be honest, they are not for you. And your spirit, the Holy Spirit, the divine energy that runs within you and through you and is all, is telling you, hey, listen up, homie, get out of there. That's not for you. Or this is a red flag warning. I could really go in on the stories forever, I guess, but recently I watched a video where someone said, the ministries or these people's platforms and stuff. It's not for you. It's not for your stories. It's for Jesus. It's for his stories. So going back to that, Yeshua, he knew who his betrayer was. He knew. He didn't say it to that person's face. And that person, was it Judas, wouldn't admit it. He didn't know. He didn't even recognize that he was that person until the opportunity presented itself. The greed took over. The entity took over. And, you know, it can be hard to discern at times, but the more that you listen and the more that you trust, that's what I wanted to say. If not anything else, trust your gut instincts, trust your intuition, those natural urges that you get, because that is a safety. It's like a safety GPS, your spiritual system, your body, to keep you out of harm's way, you know, and your discernment is just another level to that. And there's different levels within your discernment as well, and it will continue to grow as you grow within yourself and within your divinity. So I wanted to go over this list that I have. I know that it can be hard to trust your gut instincts, to trust those thoughts, those feelings, those ideas, and inklings that you get from spirit, you know, especially when everyone around you is saying, this person, for one example, this husband that I knew, it was a friend's husband, and you know, they had not been in my life for years at this point, but they had been in other people's lives for years. And you know, I believe spirit was trying to show me who this person was, but I was not at a place in my journey that I truly trusted myself, truly trusted my guidance, truly trusted my guides, and trusted that the messages that I was receiving were for a reason. The messages that I was receiving was truthful and real. And throughout these years of my life, the one thing that I've learned is that you get these ideas, these sensations, these downloads because it's real. And not everyone is going to receive those downloads because not everyone is as spiritually open and aware and receptive to that information, you know, like, for instance, like I was more of an open channel to see the truth of who these people were, because I didn't have the history, you know, the familial ties, the love that was supposedly there. You know, the lies and the manipulation that people play on you at times can kind of distort our thinking, can kind of, people have a way of manipulating the situation, manipulating minds, manipulating hearts, manipulating conversations to hide the truth of who they are. And you know, they say that Satan knows the Bible better than any of us. And I believe that's most likely true, that there's stuff in this world, stuff of spirit that we are not privy to. We could never know all of that information within our short lifetime. And that is why we are guided more so to trust our intuition, to trust our discernment, to trust those visions that we receive, those dreams, those, you know, some may say a fear or a worry. And that was something that kind of came up to me a lot, is I had been abused so much that I didn't trust myself anymore. And so when Source was trying to speak to me, trying to tell me all of these things, I wasn't fully, it's not that I wasn't, it's like a part of me didn't want to believe, you know, and some of it was, you know, me trying to stay out of these negative mindsets, and so trying to stay out of fear-based mind. And so in doing that, you know, there was a lot of times that I neglected the reality of what my discernment was telling me, of what my intuition was telling me. And I say that, and I say both of them because I think not that they're interchangeable, because they're different, but your intuition is, I believe, I know it's like the animalistic, right? And it's your gut instinct, but it is your spiritual. It is your spiritual compass on this earth. It's what we are all born with. If you don't have the spiritual discernment, you at least have the intuition. All of us have that within us, and we just have to learn to tap into it and learn to grow that and learn to trust it and listen to it and know that it is for your benefit, for your protection, for your growth, and for others, to help others. That's it's so much bigger than us, you know. So this list that I have, let's see, you may be, if you're someone who has spiritual discernment, or it's something that you're growing in your spirit, you may be feeling, you know, have a bad negative feeling, a queasy feeling around someone. You may, something that I always, like before my spiritual awakening, something that I always came up was being around fake people. I've always been kind of an outcast and a loner, and I never wanted to be really anyone else. I just wanted to be the best version of me. Now, with that said, I did go through long periods of time where I did not see my own worth. I did not see my own beauty. I did not see my inner beauty. I did not see that I was capable of any goodness, of providing any services to others that was beneficial, you know, and yet in that there was still parts of me that always fought for that, because deep down, knowing who I am and recognizing in my own spiritual discernment that those are just a lot of that was just pressed onto me. But when you're, you know, still kind of in the dark a lot, you may come across people that seem fake. They lie about who they are. They tell stupid jokes. They talk. I met this girl once who I went to high school with her, and I knew her from there, but I didn't really know her. But she was friends with we had mutual friends. So then fast forward to in my middle 20s or so, I was at a bar with a friend of ours, and she was there, and this girl is legit just talking in an accent the whole time. And I said, well, why do you have an accent? And she didn't know who I was. She didn't know that I knew her. And she just kept trying to play it off like it's not a thing and she's not faking it. And, you know, I've had many partners who have been insanely fake to me, who have pretended to be something that they are not, who have told me that they are going to be a certain way, or that they are a certain way, and that was so far from the truth. The mask always falls off at some point. It might be a weekend, it might be the first day you meet them, it might be years into the relationship, but they are never able to keep the mask forever. And there's always tells to let you know who someone truly is. And if it's something that you're questioning or you're not sure about, pray and ask for guidance. Ask to be shown the truth, because Source, God, does not want you to be in these unequally yoked relationships, friendships, jobs, partnerships with work, you know? And it can be kind of tricky because many of these people who are operating in these frequencies, they've been doing this their whole life. They've been doing this since childhood. They have been manipulating people and deceiving people and hiding who they are from everyone, including themselves. So much so that many times their mind is so twisted that they can't even see the reality within themselves. You know, some of them do, and it's, you know, a fun game for them. They find enjoyment in causing chaos and causing confusion and making you question yourself, and the gaslighting. They love it. And if you are around someone that seems to thrive off of that chaos, I would suggest that you run out of there as fast as you can, because they will tear you up from the inside out. They will tear you up. And if you happen to have a child with someone like that, which I do, blessed be, you know, I'll pray for you for sure. And, you know, just keep praying for healing, keep praying for deliverance for them, for yourself. You know, it's tricky. It's a tricky thing. It can be really frustrating. It can be really hard. It's hard to forgive someone at times that continues to attack you. I understand, you know. And you may leave that situation thinking, if I leave, it will get better. If I'm just so kind and compassionate, if I continue to give in, it will be okay. If I give them my child more, or if I don't speak up, or if I let things slide, it will be okay. But no, it will not be okay. Regardless if you're speaking up and standing up for yourself, or if you're allowing them to bulldoze you, if you are, you know, trying to keep the peace at the best way that you can, they will tear your life apart, because that is the entity's goal. Satan came to steal, kill, and destroy, right? And it's evident, you know. I did not want to believe in demons. I did not want to believe in Satan. I did not want to believe in all of this negative aspects of the world. I didn't want to believe that people could be oppressed and possessed by entities and literally just come at you in these ways. But it is true. And many times the people that you meet on the street that you wonder, how could they do such a thing? How could someone be so cruel? How could someone be so heartless? It's not them. It's not their soul. It's not the truth of who they are. It's the entities. It's the damage. It's the trauma. It's the unhealed. It's the wounds. It's the hurt. It's the pain. It's the projection. It's the unwillingness to see themselves through true eyes. And no amount of you showing up and giving your best and loving them through it is going to save them. All that it's going to do is hurt you and possibly hurt your children if you have them. You know, we're told to love ourselves, love our neighbors as ourselves, and love God, right? But if you're truly loving to yourself, truly caring for yourself, when you are there at that level, you don't put up with this nonsense. You don't allow someone to continue to abuse you, you know? And it's okay if you've been in that situation. It's okay if you've made mistakes and if you've gotten yourself in these tricky situations. Like, it happens. It's reality. It's, you know, we don't learn how to maneuver these negative entities in this world by just hiding away and not not having these interactions. You know, the way that you discern is by being in the world, not being of the world and being drugged out and partying and drinking all the time, because that takes you away from yourself as well. But when you're standing in your energy and you're taking care of yourself and you're listening to your inner guidance and your boundaries and doing what's best for you, you're able to see more of the way that they maneuver. You're able to see it from a mile away. There's times in my past, in my younger years, that I would never believe that someone would treat me these ways, you know? And like I personally, not that I'm such an amazing person, but I never was like intentionally hurtful toward people, and I've done things that hurt people that I just I wasn't always my best self, but there's a difference between someone who is, you know, looking for that ability to attack and hurt people, and that it brings them joy and comfort to see you, you know, your life falling apart. I've always been one to lift people up. Even when I was struggling, you know, I was always helping other people before myself. It took a lot for me to really see all this stuff for what it is. And, you know, God really opened my eyes to the truth. And in doing that, it was a lot of intuition, a lot of discernment, and, you know, there was a lot of spirit talking to me that I didn't believe it. I didn't trust it. I didn't want to see it, you know, and it was like evil, disgusting things. You don't want to believe that people that you see in good lights, or that, you know, portray themselves to be godly, loving, caring people, are truly evil. But that is the reality. And, you know, this world is a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual war zone every day, all day, on the psychic level, on the mental, on the emotional, on the physical, the spiritual, your etheric body. Like, even when you're going to sleep, even in your dreams, you're most likely, a lot of the times, if you are growing in your divine alignment, if you're striving to better yourself, if you are striving to get out of these toxic holds and addictions, you will be attacked physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in your dreams. Like, you will, it is a non-stop, you know, and this whole world is truly designed to distract us and take us from ourselves. So creating that close communication and bond with source, with your spirit guides, with your guardian angels, and, you know, a good way to do that is just truly listening to your intuition and listening to your discernment. It can be a little tricky at times, because especially when we grow up in trauma, it can distort how we view things. It can make us feel like people are safe that are unsafe. We learn the comfort within the chaos, and it's, you know, it takes time to break that. It takes time to understand that that is not, you know, a loving, safe environment, that they are not for us. And as much as we can be pulled to those scenarios, our spirit, our higher self, God is always urging us upward, urging us out of those situations, urging us to see things through a new lens. So some of the things that you may be often misunderstood by others. So a lot of that comes with, being a sensitive soul. You may have been told that you cry too much and you're too sensitive and what's wrong with you and blah, blah, blah. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're delusional. But you're not. You're not. 100%. You're most likely you're not. A lot of the times people say that kind of stuff because if they are able to have you believe it, then they are able to continue abusing you. They are able to keep their claws in you, and you are not able to be free. You are not able to grow and heal, and they can continue to steal your energy. There's so much that really goes into this. I did not plan for this to even be this long. I just, I tried, y'all. I try. But there's a lot that goes into it, and it's the spiritual world is wild. So you may feel different from others, have a different view of the world. Perhaps you're more sensitive and others don't understand you. They don't understand why you think the way that you do, why you feel the way that you do. And it's really not up to anyone else to understand or comprehend why you are feeling the way that you're feeling or thinking the way that you're thinking. A lot of times it's for you. They are not on the same journey with you. We are all on separate journeys on, various timelines, various levels of awakening. And Spirit is always pushing us higher. And so, we get into these situations. It's a lesson in learning, but it's also a lesson in growing our spiritual strength, our physical strength, our mental strength, our understanding of the world, of ourselves, of others. It says you are in love with the presence of God. You're able to discern what God is doing in your life. So a way that kind of shows up for me is, tower moments. When your life crumbles, when things are falling apart, when everything is chaos, and it seems like the worst time in your life, right? Give it time and be at peace. Like, you're able to know that you're able to see the way that God is moving in your life. Like, perhaps your friends are falling away and they're not for you. If you get fired from a job, that job wasn't for you. Maybe you would have stayed in that job for years and years and gotten insanely depressed, or your body would have been worn out. Like, there's so many different things that come into play. The variables are endless, and that is why above all else, we need to have that love and that communication with God and our understanding of ourselves. Because when you really have that, you don't have to worry. You're not confused. You're not questioning, like, this isn't how things work, and this isn't, I'm not supposed to be this way. No, like, you are. You are right on point. You are right on track. And it's okay that other people don't see it. And it's okay that people don't understand. And you don't have to try to explain it to them, because, to be honest, they're not even on the consciousness that you are to understand. They're not on the frequency. They have no way of perceiving what you would know, unless they are also having those discerning downloads and intuitive sparks as well. And that is something, some people might have that as well and not have said it yet. So maybe you're just the first one to speak up about it. But do not waste your breath and energy and time going over and over something, trying to have someone see you for you, trying to have someone believe you, trying to have someone see others in the light that they are truly needing to be seen. It's not for you to teach them. Some people get in an abusive relationship, and one time and they're done. They don't ever mess with it again. Some people get in that and it's cycles upon cycles upon cycles with the same person, or it's we separate from that relationship, but we haven't healed all of it, and so we get into another abusive relationship, and it's maybe abusive in different ways. It's all about our personal growth and journey, right? And it's not to say, if you come across someone who is malicious and has really negative intent, to not warn others, because I have done that at times. And that's just who I am. I think that that's the beauty of us having good discernment, strong discernment, and that knowing within ourselves is that, when spirit gives us those downloads about someone, we are able to share that with our other loved ones or people around them for their safety, because not everyone is as spiritually advanced as you, not everyone is as tapped in as you, and it's up to them if they want to listen, it's up to them if they want to take it in, and sometimes it's just they need to wait and see. Sometimes you gotta give people, I always tried to give people benefit of doubt, but so many times I'm giving these people so much slack, and so much time, and so many second chances, fifth chances, 10th chances, because I know that their soul, their heart, the part of them that is connected to source, that gives them the breath, that they have goodness within them. And I don't want to see people hurting and in pain and struggling and in this chaos energy. But it is not up to you to save people. It's for them to save themselves, for your friends to save themselves from this toxicity, and from the toxic person to save themselves. We are the healer of ourselves, but you can't heal everyone. You can't. And when you're trying to heal everyone, I've learned from experience that in trying to heal everyone and trying to be there and I don't want to let them go because they're struggling, and yet when you're giving so much of yourself to others, you're not able to take care of and protect and nurture yourself. So, learning those boundaries, right? And discernment is a great tool for that. You can understand who a person is despite the words that they speak, despite the actions. Some people, like if you've ever been in an abusive relationship where they are really horrible to you, and then they come back and they'll be really sweet to you, really loving to you, and it reminds you of who you thought they were in the beginning, perhaps. It makes you feel like, everybody makes mistakes, and I'm not perfect. I've made so many mistakes, and so how can I be so cruel to this person and just leave? How can I, not let them try again when I would only want someone to do that for me? But I'm here to tell you that it's not the same. They are not the same as you. They will never be the same as you. And you cannot force someone, and you cannot love someone to healing. The only way that people heal is when we leave them to their own devices, we leave them to their own chaos, we heal ourselves. When you heal yourself, you heal the world. You're healing, like you're this own little bubble, right? You're this little bubble, and you're healing, and as you're healing, it's like you're getting this like wave ripple effect, and it's healing everyone around you, and so it's helping them. And the different conversations that you have will be healing at times. The different understandings that people come to when they're speaking with you, you can help teach people to maneuver this world differently in so many different ways. But if they're not ready, willing, or wanting to see anything different because they are enjoying that energy that they're in, you cannot hold on to that. It's not good for you. And it's honestly not good for them, because they're not able to see the reality of themselves, right? And they may not ever be able to. And that's not really for us to say. It's, just give it to God and pray on it, right? So when you are growing your discernment, it's really important to be in communication with God, right? And I feel like I'm just rambling and rambling. Sorry. If you're not talking to spirit, if you're not talking to source, and if you're not in that true desire for that connection, then I don't believe that you could have discernment. Or perhaps you can, and be unknowing of what it is, and not understanding the full scope of it, because it is a process, and it is a journey, and it is an awakening within ourselves. But as you continue to grow in your discernment, as you continue to follow as you're led and trust in that, a lot of times you might ignore what you're being told. You might ignore your intuition. You might ignore the downloads. And in time, you're proven correct. And it's not, oh, I was right, yay. No, it's, dang, I was right. I should have listened. I knew better. I knew it. Why? Like, it's horrible, at times. And I've had so many times of not listening to my spiritual guidance, not listening to my own inner knowing, the spirits calling and urging me to really step up and shut things down and separate myself. And I struggled, because my flesh, my humanness, I wanted to love these people. I wanted to see and believe that they were good. I wanted to believe that, what we had as in our relationship, our friendship, our cohabiting for that time, that it was real. It was real for sure, but it wasn't real on the level that I am real, that you are real, right? And the more you know, the more you know. We all make mistakes, and we don't always listen, and we get ourselves into some sticky situations. And that's why having that communication is so important. You won't question as much. You'll know it. You will know it in your heart and soul. You will know. You may have a desire for discernment, to know the truth beyond what you see, to know who someone truly is beyond their mask, beyond the games that they play, beyond the manipulation, the lies. You may have a desire to use your discernment to help others. And so naturally, if you're the type of person that is wanting and willing and would help others with the spiritual gifts that you are given, God will gladly grant them to you. But he's not going to just give you, here's all this knowledge, wisdom, blah, blah, blah. You don't grow up knowing how to tie your shoes. It takes time. It takes practice. You don't I feel like that was not a good explanation, but let's see. You know, life really is just a process of learning, of unlearning, of renewing the mind and the spirit and the heart. And when we allow God to show us who we are and who others are, and we trust it, it's like proving to Source that you are taking it serious, that you are trusting them, that you are trusting in Source, that you are understanding, this mission that you are on. Because yeah, it's a spiritual battle, but it doesn't have to be a war zone every day. We're not meant to be battling every day. We're not meant to be in marriages with toxic, evil, abusive people, And I wish them all the healing in the world, right? But the reality is, we all are on different vibrations. We are all on different levels, and we get to these low places at times, and sometimes we get stuck in drug habits or negative thought patterns, or not taking care of ourselves, and those types of things will lower our energy so much, to a point, especially when we've been doing that for so long. And many of us have been struggling with certain things for our entire life, since childhood, from our traumatic childhoods, that it leaves an opening for those negative entities and those spiritual battles to play out in our physical reality. And so the more that you trust in what you're being guided to, regardless of what anyone says, the more that you will grow within your own strength, within your spiritual discernment and your spiritual knowing. Sorry. All right. Yeah, you'll know what God is doing in your life. You'll know what He's doing in the world. Like with the government, for example, with the COVID shot, with just all the manipulation. It's literally, I've said it in other videos that this world is like a narcissistic paradigm, and Satan was like the ultimate narcissist. So I find it interesting that many of these people who are struggling in these ways tend to have narcissistic tendencies or narcissistic personality. They many of times will have demonic oppression, demonic strongholds that they don't even recognize within themselves. They're so disillusioned and pulled away from themselves, and so stuck in the projection and the chaos and the attack, and that they're not even seeing the reality. They're blinded, and that's a part of it too. Like, as much as they know, as much as they can see it, as much as they know that they're wrong, they also find ways to make it okay, to excuse it away, to find reasons to be the way that they are. And even if they may feel sometimes, oh, that was a little too harsh, they feel that it is valid. Like Satan feels he's valid in stealing all of our souls, but I don't really think that that's true. And then I'm here like, is Satan even real? Like, as much as I still don't want to believe it. I still don't want to believe in demons, but it's real. I saw it with my eyes. I've seen it time and time again. There is no denying it. My discernment is too strong. I have gone through too much, and I cannot go back. And so that's why I'm here, honestly. Let's see. You may pray for hours. You have a strong desire for holiness as Yeshua. You want to live as Yeshua did. And if you don't know who that is, that's Jesus. That's his, I believe, his actual name. But you know, I've always thought that he was here to teach us how to live in this world, how to be connected to God and ourselves, and to be strong and to not be taken out by all of these toxic ways. And the more that I learn, the more that it literally just like grows upon itself. You are teachable, humble, and meek, open to learning new things and improving yourself. You're able to see motives and true intentions of others beyond their false masks, their pure or negative intentions. So sometimes that might just be, sometimes it'll be someone saying something, like they accidentally slip up and say something that lets you know that they are intentionally trying to hurt you. It may be in their actions. It may be just the fact that, you know, when someone truly loves you, you feel loved. And that's not all the time, because if we still have traumas to heal from, where we are like dealing with abandonment wounds and stuff, there's times that we may receive love and it doesn't feel loving. It feels like a game. It feels like a ploy. It feels like they want to use me, right? And I'm saying that as I'm thinking on this, like the specific situation that I'm thinking of, you know, me and this person, when we knew each other, we were on lower vibrations, and I was rising up and they were not. And I don't know if I say they are not, because how do I really know where their heart is at, where their spiritual growth is, where everything is? But, you know, there's these things that happen at times that you cannot deny. You can't deny, like, your, how do I put this? You know. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you will find out. If you are unsure, pray, ask for guidance, sit with it, meditate, and then just see what happens. Like, the signs are all around you. The signs about everything is all around you, and Spirit is constantly giving you signs and synchronicities and inklings and downloads and thought forms and emotions. Like, that's, it's a constant communication, you know, whether you're actively praying to God or not. God is always talking to you, because God is you. God is a part of you, you know, and we are all to be growing towards the full unity consciousness. And you're seeing it. I don't know if you're seeing it. Hopefully you are, but it is happening. It's been happening more and more, and it is just like an explosion, and it just keeps like barreling. Like, it's kind of wild, to be honest, but really freaking cool. But there's a lot of people that are not on that path. They're not on that journey. They're not in that understanding or that willingness or wantingness to change anything about who they are. They want everyone else to change. They want to be able to say really messed up jokes to you and pretend it's a joke and play it off. I love you. What are you talking about? I'm just joking. You can't take a joke. No, homie, it's not funny. You know what I mean? Like, jokes are funny. You're not funny. Yeah, so you need to be open to learning new things and improving. So sorry, clearly. And I don't even know if you have to be necessarily all of these. You know, we're all different, varying levels of ourselves. And sometimes in my walk, I have tried to push myself so hard and so strongly to be like sanctified and cleared out and holy, and not holier than thou, because we are all holy. We are all divine beings, and we are all loved, right? And we are all being guided to rise up and heal ourselves. But it's, are you willing to be teachable? Are you in that energy of being humble to recognize that you do have things to work on, that you are not perfect, that you know, you're not the type of person to be striving after giant houses and expensive cars and all this money. There's something different about the people who search for God truly, and instead of searching for this world's validation and confirmation of their worth. The only true worth and validation that you need is of God, and that's the only one that you need to have that communication with, that understanding with. You know, He knows your heart better than you. And so most likely, if you're watching this video, you already have discernment. You already are knowing many of these things, and you already are on your journey. And maybe this is just confirmation for some of your things, or maybe there's other things in this message that have hit a chord with you. I personally, I learned the hard way. I learned a lot of things the hard way because I'm stubborn and rebellious at times, and God has really been working with me on all of that. So being teachable, being humble, being, you know, it's not that you're less than, you know. I don't believe that anyone is better than anyone else. I think that we are all divine and worthy of love and protection and care and nurturing and healing. All of us. And I know that is hard to, in deliverance, I know that's hard to like put your mind around, wrap your mind around at times because of the evil ways of the world. But when you zoom out, when you take it back to the wholeness of us, you know, we are all deserving of it. Not everyone is willing to strive for it or willing to do the work for it. Not everyone is willing to humble themselves before God to see the truth of who they are, of how they've been, of where they've gotten themselves, to be teachable, to be maneuverable, to be reformed and transformed, you know? And when you're in this walk with God, when you're on this journey of healing and self-discovery, there can be no other way. You know, there can be no way, there's no way to get through this without being teachable, without humbling yourself. None of us know everything. And even though like all of the things that are in the world have been known before, have been said before, you don't know everything. I don't know everything. God knows everything. Source knows everything. Divine knows everything. And it's not for me to pretend to be anything else but what I am, right? And so just having that general way of being and working toward it helps grow your discernment as well. And it allows you to be open to it. It allows the the growth that God has for you, the transformation that God has for you, and the potential life that He wants to bless you with, that allows it to be possible. It says you're sensitive to spiritual atmosphere, so you may know when someone's spirit is off, when, you know, like I said before, they're, the way that they come to you, the way that they present themselves, the way that they speak. You may run across people that are very charismatic. A lot of times it's in the church that there are, you know, they're very funny and good looking, and they smile and they can hold a crowd, and they have these giant churches, but the soul of them, the inside of them, is not godly, is not holy. And you can see it. When you have the discernment, you can see it, and you will not be pulled by these tricksters, you know. They are the false prophets. They are telling these stories of who they are and who we are that are not true, because they're working for the enemy. And you'll be able to know and discern, you know, who is of angelic origin and who is of evil origin. You know, there's so many people that I've met that I feel were angels in disguise, or earth angels, which I didn't even think was a real thing for real. Apparently, whatever. But many of those are homeless people. And they're stuck in these different vibration loops and mindsets, and yet they have so much knowledge, so much wisdom, so much love, so much compassion, so much understanding and forgiveness and care. And not all of them. I've met so many, you know. I've met people who have been ungrateful, who have been angry, who have been all kinds of ways. But I didn't hold that against them either. I tried my best not to, because how would you feel if you didn't have a home to go to, if you didn't have if the people that saw you treated you like crap just because you were struggling, because you didn't have a place to be until you get a job, take a shower, what's wrong with you, bum, you're lazy. I mean, that's not the case at all. Many people are homeless with jobs. Many people are working multiple jobs and still lose their homes. Like, I know it's like, how is that possible? But there's things beyond our understanding and comprehension at times that take place in this world. And so it's best to be compassionate towards one another, to be loving towards one another, regardless of how they come at you. Try your best to be loving and patient and giving, because they need that love and that conversation and that care so much more than you know, so much more than many people that you meet. A lot of people only want to give people the time of day that have money and are dressed well and can give them something, but the reality is you're here to give to other people, and we're here to spread God's love and knowledge and truth and understanding, and to be that, to live that. That's what I believe. And, you know, just to be there for one another, because this life is hard and not everyone can get out of these situations. Not everyone can perceive the world in these different ways. And a lot of times it's not possible because they're in such a low vibration. They're in a low, there's like a low timeline, right? Like, your energy determines where you end up, right? Like, if, like, you're not going to see someone who has a really negative mindset. Well, I was going to say you're not going to see someone with a negative mindset as a CEO of a company, but that is not true either. But There honestly is all these different variables going into play about why people are where they are, why they're struggling with certain things, why they're stuck in certain situations. And if the world is all mental, if it's all the mind, and then it's all controlling your mind and putting that focus on what you want to achieve, it's very difficult to keep your focus on higher level things when you're sleeping on the street and you haven't eaten for days and you stink because you haven't been able to take a shower, and the one place that you got let into now doesn't want to let you in because people are complaining that you're in there, because gosh forbid someone who isn't perfect is around them. No one is perfect. Any person can become homeless at any time. Any person can lose everything at any time. We are not guaranteed anything. And it's just honestly it's frustrating, having so many people in this world be so evil and mean and cruel and just disconnected from the fact that that's a person. That is a person. People treat their dogs better than they treat other people at times, and it makes me sad. Anywho, we have a few more to go. You have the desire to leave the world, to sanctify yourself, to not be a part of these systems. Perhaps you stopped watching TV, or perhaps you just stopped watching the news. That was one of my first things I did. I stopped watching the news. It's all fear tactics and mind manipulation and all craziness. You don't want to be around gossip anymore. Perhaps you don't want to be partaking in the party lifestyle, or maybe you used to be around friends 24/7, and now you're feeling the urge to kind of isolate yourself and separate a little bit and kind of tap into other aspects of self. That's something that can happen a lot with discernment. You don't laugh at the same jokes. You don't listen to the same music. It's not you flip a switch and you're completely changed. It's a progress. It's a process. It happens over time. It happens within days, months, and years. And if you allow yourself to grow in these ways, it can seem boring to some people. A lot of those people are people that are in the world still, and they still want to be distracted from themselves and from their pain and from the trauma, from the healing that they need to do. They want to be distracted from their discernment. So many people have discernment and they shut it off. They drink all the time, or they smoke all the time, or they're just always around people, or they hear it and they get those downloads, and they ignore it because they don't want to know. They don't want to see it. They don't want to care. It's a hard life to be strong in that at times. It can be difficult, especially when those around you, they don't see things the same way. They're not able to understand where you're coming from, and so you want to explain to them where you're at and why, and you want them to be healing and you want them to be living their best lives, but they're not there yet. They might not ever be. It's not for you, like I said, not for you to save them. It's not for you to try to change everyone's minds. That's their own individual journey, and you just have to run your own course. Your discernment increases with obedience. So the more that you obey what Spirit is telling you, the rules of the Bible comes to mind, the commandments. the more that you listen and follow the way that you're guided, that is obedience, like that is the teacher is teaching you, and you are listening, and you are obeying, and you are learning within that, and it doesn't make sense to many people. It doesn't make sense to this world, because this world doesn't make sense. It's not that you don't make sense or that you're wrong. This world doesn't make sense. This world is chaos. This world is destruction and distraction and manipulation and mind control and so much wild stuff, right? You can sense that people are lying, manipulating, or betraying you. You can hear people, like, I don't know, it's like a clairvoyancy, but I assume it's also discernment. It's your spiritual gift. But you can hear people talking about you at times. You can get thoughts and ideas of people cheating on you, or people not really liking you, and they tell you, what are you talking about? Like, I don't have any problems. We're good. We're fine. Like, you're being silly, or no, I was just joking, or oh, you make a lot of jokes about how stupid I am. Do you think I'm stupid? No, I was just joking. That's silly. Why are you getting so upset about it? Like, I was just kidding, bro. Like, no. Then why do you keep talking about it? Why do you keep saying it? Why do you keep acting like that, right? Like, but I'm going to tell you from my experience, calling people out on this stuff, they're not going to just, oh, yeah, you got me. No. They're going to try to gaslight you. They're going to try to manipulate you. They're going to try to see how far they can go. So you are the one that needs to step up, step out, take that discernment as exactly what it is, the truth, the spiritual truth of where you're going in your life, and trust just where you're led, because we're constantly growing and evolving, and the person that was for you last month might not be the same person that's for you this month. You might be a totally different person. You kind of look the same, you're in the same place, you're dealing with the same types of things, but spiritually, mentally, you are a different being. You are leveled up, you are evolved. And it's not to say that you're better than others, you're just growing in different ways. You're taking accountability for yourself, for the journey that you're on. It is a spiritual journey from start to finish. That's what it is, your soul's journey in this life. And you either come out of it and ascend, or you get reborn, right? But throughout our lifetime, we are constantly going through these different levels and stages and ascensions and descensions, and growing in our knowing of ourself and of spirit and of truth and of understanding. And when we look for that knowledge, and when we seek it, it is given. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. That's really all I have for today. That's way longer than I thought it was. So hopefully this helps. Let me know what you think below. If you're struggling with anything, if you're wanting some kind of coaching or just a free consultation, maybe you need the conversation, I'm down for it. Message me and we will get it set up. Every coaching session is, what is the words I'm looking for? Uniquely designed to you, as we are all our own unique frequency and our own unique peoples. I don't feel that a one size fits all is something that's possible. I mean, it is in a way, but where someone else is at this point in life is not where you are at this point in life, right? And where I am at this point of life is not where the next person is at this point of life. And so we all need different things at different times. And so that's something that we would figure out as we do the consultation. Thank you so much for hanging out. I will be back with another one.